Ed, question for you on the subject of Casas. It feels like it's the constant conversation on Twitter. And my favorite tweet of the offseason, early favorite for tweet of the offseason, was Bill James saying that Triston Casas has a 30 to 40% chance of being a Hall of Fame caliber hitter.
Yep.
I absolutely love Triston Casas. Obviously, 30-40% is crazy. Do you buy into the whole trade thing? Would you trade him? Is there a world where you'd do it? And if so, what is the world?
Okay, is there a world when are we talking like hypothetically, like just somebody decides to be really fucking stupid and
within reason
for a guy that isn't proven? Like, yeah, of course there is a universe where somebody goes crazy and decides to give you all of their best players for him. Like, right. Aren't there unlimited universes or something? So maybe that happened in one of them. I don't know.
Ohtani and bets for Casas. Who says no? Like, yeah, within reason. Yeah.
Yeah, within reason. I don't see it with Casas because I don't think that for a first baseman you're going to get somebody of Casas's caliber's value, if that makes sense. Because look at who we're not seeing a lot of these conversations about trading somebody like Jarren Duran or Roman Anthony, even though if we look at what is actually on the roster, they're probably easier to replace. We're doing Casas because we think that a first baseman matters less. And I think with Casas, the combination of power and his eye and his defense and his people get really stuck on the personality of Triston Casas, but this is a guy that is obsessive with his craft. Like he works his ass off, and he's a big dude. It's hard for big dudes to stay healthy sometimes. He's got to figure that out. That's the thing that prevents him, for me, of being like a sure thing is, can he stay healthy? But if you're just looking at him from like a pure talent level, I don't actually think Bill James's assessment is totally crazy. I think that it's just very hard to assume that a guy that's gotten hurt the last 3 seasons and he's 24, 25 isn't like, that's not going to continue being a problem. That's where it's kind of difficult. But I just can't see a trade where you're really getting not just good value for him, but value that really helps the Red Sox. Like realistically, what they would need to trade him with to get an ace, another team's going to want some prospects with it. And at a certain point, it's just like, why am I dealing from all this stuff that I already have for a guy that, pitchers are universally going to be risky. So you kind of have to stick with what you've got sometimes. That's my feeling on it. I know other people.
No, I'm with you, Ed.
I'm with you.
Yeah. There's practically I don't think there is a world within reason where I would trade him.
That's the key part though, is the within reason, because it's like, wow, the Tigers really want him. They're giving the Red Sox Tariq Skubal. Yeah, of course you do that. Or like, I don't know, like the Mariners decide that they really, they can afford to trade from their rotation, and they decide to give like Logan Gilbert or something.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm on that. The thing that bothers me, I don't like when people say like, don't trade this guy, period. Like, of course I don't want Triston Casas to be traded. And Gordo and I go back and forth all the time about this. There's like 99.9% of me does not want Casas to be traded. He's a great player, great dude. He's been great to us at Fenway. But Logan Gilbert, that's a need. Someone like that. And even that, I don't know if I would do it, because it's 3 years versus what, Gordo, 5?
It's 4 years for Casas. So
4 years to
See,
three.
That's the key with me is the years of control, and also the fact that the Red Sox don't have to give him up. Like, they have a lot of valuable pieces. Like, they could trade from other pieces, or should be able to trade from other pieces. Like, you don't like that. That's even the Skubal thing. Like, naturally, like Tariq Skubal, like that sounds incredible, but at the same time, it's like I would rather trade from one of the big four and Wilyer Abreu and Cutter Cross, make a good package and get a lower tier ace. I'd rather do that than trade Casas for Skubal.
I mean, the problem,
I think that's a hot take. I don't know.
No, the problem always is also that you just don't know if who the other team wants and who they're going to value. Like I listen to the Sox Prospects podcast all the time, and Ian Cundall tends to be very much like, oh, that wouldn't work to get him, that wouldn't work. And if you're looking at it like in a vacuum, Yeah, he's usually right. But then why do we see all of these trades that happen that you're like, wait, really? That's all it costs to get this guy? You just don't know what other teams are seeing. You're assuming that other teams are going to be smart about it or that they value the same thing in players that you do. And I just don't. The more I have followed this and the more I've been like, oh, that's not like you're going to need to trade a lot more than this guy's worth. And then it's like, okay, like you didn't have to. It's really, it feels like it's a lot more random than we like to pretend it is.
Yeah. And you see so many of those trades go down where it's like, because sometimes you see the asks. I'm trying to remember. I think maybe like the Dylan Cease ask price, like from the middle of the season before the offseason that he got traded, where they were asking for like Bayo plus, and then he ends up going like the package he went for, like no shade to the guys they got, but it's not Brian. That's not a Brian Bayo package.
No.
So yeah,
it was like
a lot of it's right place, right time.
Yeah, no, it was Cedar Rafaela for Aaron Savali. I remember was like another one that in 2023 could have been made, and it's just like, I don't know if I can deal with Dave O'Brien mentioning that he pitched for Northeastern every 5 days. I'm not sure I could deal with that.
No, that's the kind of trade. That's the kind of trade you make when you're a piece away, not when you're rebuilding.
Exactly.
And good that they didn't, because Savali ended up not. Like the Guardians did sell at his literal peak value, so good for them. Yeah. Okay, Ed, I gotta ask you because you are the owner of the bullpen trustometer. All right.
Yes, I am.
Love the graphic, love the posts. That thing's got to be in huge flux right now with Kenley Jansen and Chris Martin not on the board right now. What would you do? Like, who do you want to be at the top of the bullpen? Like, how do you want them to address what needs to be at the top of the bullpen trustometer?
I mean, they need a high leverage lefty. I think that's the first thing that you have to get even before figuring out who the closer is. You need to get a guy that can, if you're going into the season with like Bernardino as your first lefty, he's fine as a second lefty, but he doesn't have that high octane stuff that you really want out of that. I mean, listen, Tanner Scott, if you can find a way to sign that guy, like that's pretty cool. Knowing the Red Sox, probably not going to happen, but they need someone like that. I mean, AJ Minter's a free agent. I kind of like him. But I think that's the first point. The closer situation is really interesting, and spring training.
Yeah, what would you do with that? What would you do with that?
Honest, if I'm being 100% honest, I know people really like Hendricks, and he's had a ton of success. I think Slayton's already the better pitcher. I would just put Justin Slayton there, and if it eases Hendricks in a little bit more because he's been out for basically 3 years now because he missed before he needed the Tommy John. He had lymphoma, missed a lot of the year from that. I'd rather just ease him in, just situations that aren't quite as stressful. Let him get his feel for the game back. And then if Slayton's struggling, you have a guy that's done it before right there. After that, I mean, I guess Michael Fulmer is another guy that is another veteran that is taking one of those roles. You have to think if they don't lose him in the Rule 5 draft or whatever. That'd be weird if they lost him in the Rule 5 draft, wouldn't it? That would
weirdest
be
potential.
Weird.
Yeah, weirdest potential Rule 5 pick of all time. That was crazy. I didn't even think about that. What was it? Cotillo surfaced that as a possibility. I was like, I guess it's possible.
I thought that was a typo. When you wrote that, I thought that was a typo. I was like, oh man, that's a bad typo. And then I read it. I'm like, oh, that wasn't a typo.
No.
Yeah. So Hendricks, some context on Liam Hendricks. 2022, he pitched 58 games, and then the following year, 2023, only 5 games. Obviously, didn't pitch in 2024. Yeah. So it has been a while. And we've spoken about this before. I was super bummed out that he didn't come back to pitch 5 more games, just a few innings, just so we could see what we're working with. Because now it's a complete mystery rather than a partial mystery. So
you guys got to talk to him during spring training. I remember. Did you talk to him at all during the season?
No.
Yes.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
That is a guy that just really wanted to pitch.
Can I tell a story?
Really just wanted to be pitching.
Quick Liam Hendricks story. Go to the rain delay.
Yeah, you got to.
So we're in the we were on the field getting kind of quotes or something, and the weather was supposed to be bad, so it was kind of like dead out there. And then it really starts pouring. It was Red Sox Yankees.
So bad.
Coming down. So we run into the dugout. We're kind of hiding. All the players are off the field. Everyone's off the field. There's nobody out there. But in the dugout, me, Gordo, Liam Hendricks, and then he's talking to a group of people taking a tour. Like, no clue who these people are. And he's just kind of like holding court, talking to them. And Gordo and I are just chatting. We're like, oh, man, when do we want to go up and get lunch? Are we going to stick around? Like, how long? And then it starts really pouring. And Gordo goes, oh, it's getting hard. And Liam Hendricks turns and he's like, it's what she said. And just goes right back to talking.
Yeah, like mid-sentence. He was just in the middle of a sentence with these people. That's what she said.
Yeah, right. It's what she said. Yeah, to be
Continue
on.
on. Yeah, he's
that
funny as hell.
accent so much better than I could even hope to.
He said I sounded more because we did that whole bit with him in spring training. I was like, "Can you grade my accent?" "Oh, it's going on, Liam. How are you, mate?" And he was like, "Nah, you sound like a Kiwi." And I'm like, "I sound like I'm from New Zealand." And we're like, "What's the difference?" And he's like, "You say no instead of now." I'm like, "All right, man." Yeah. I'm not that good at it, but yeah, dude, great guy. Like super fun to talk to. He called me a dipshit within 30 seconds of meeting me, which was funny.
Yep.
Exactly how I would have imagined him prior to meeting him. Great guy.
The thing that I thought was the funniest about him is that, like you were saying, is just he just talks to everyone like he's known them for like he went to high school with them or something. He's a good guy to have on your team, regardless. He's like that type of personality, like the Johnny Gomes, like just like characters of the game. I think championship caliber teams need that. That like guys that keep everybody together and in focus. And it's unfortunate what happened with Kenley because it does seem like he was very much mentally checked out his second season here. Hopefully whoever they do bring in, they I think they do need some leadership guys. What do you guys have any feeling one way or another about bringing Chris Martin back? Because to me it feels like a no-brainer, but
yes.
Like he wants to do one more year. He was good when he was healthy. Like just bring the dude back for another season.
Tall.
Very tall.
I would,
like a ball magnet. Like it felt like he kept on almost getting killed this year.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Every 2 or 3 games, the line drive right back at him.
Yeah,
but I would bring him back. I think it was Cotillo who reported though that he might want to pitch closer to home in Texas to finish off. Which like I get it, and it's not like the Red Sox are the team that just lost in the World Series, and it's like, oh man, unfinished business. It's like, all right, like Chris Martin definitely believes that this team can go places, but it's like there's other teams close to home that can also. One of them won the World Series last year, and one of them has been in the ALCS every year up until this year. So, I mean, I would understand if you wanted to go there. One of those.
It's a big loss. Big loss. Like underrated big loss. Just the calming sense. From a fan perspective, let's take it from a fan perspective. Sitting on my couch watching, it's the 6th or 7th inning, and the Red Sox are up by 1. Just having in the back of my mind, okay, you go to Martin in the 7th or the 8th, and then you go to the insert closer here.
Yeah,
like that's I need that for my mental health. I need a Chris Martin on the team, or else I'm going to be anxious all the time.
Well, can I tell you though? What if I told you that not elderly, but late 30s relievers with a very good track record? There is not like a short list of those. Like there are a bunch of those guys right now that are going to be free agents. Just to name a few here from my list, the guy I have ranked 17th, Kirby Yates, 38 years old. Probably the best closer in baseball other than Emmanuel Clase this year. And we saw what maybe even better now if you count the postseason.
He's 38?
He's 38. Yeah, he's been around
That's
for
crazy.
a while. He was originally a Red Sox draft pick too.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that either.
Hawaiian guy.
He's 38, but he's like a fake 38. He's a fake 38 though, because his arm his arm might as well be like 32.
Yeah, that could.
He just hasn't pitched.
Fair.
I guess.
David Robertson, he's going to be 40 this year. Another Texas reliever, but a guy that I think he's from Rhode Island or something. I don't know how he's never pitched for the Red Sox before.
That was almost
Mariano. He was young Mariano Rivera when he started with the Yankees. They were like, dude, he's a reliever. He throws a cutter. He's right-handed. This is Mariano Jr. It never happened. He was all right.
He was okay
nasty there.
He had an okay run. Blake Treinen is a guy that he's looked unhittable now that he's healthy with the Dodgers. That's a guy.
He lived with my buddy. So he lived down the street from me for like 8 months or so because he used to train in Hudson, Mass. Great guy. Such a nice dude.
Why Hudson?
You ever hear of Cressy Performance?
No.
It's like it's Eric Cressy, who I think now is like the lead trainer for the Yankees, and the Yankees pitching coach was also like their pitching dude. And they have a whole facility out in Hudson, and they've got like another one in Florida. And MLB prospects will literally they have a program where if you have a gym membership with Cressy, you can get a ton of money off of it, or maybe even get it for free if you house an MLB prospect, because they just want to be here so they can train at that gym. So Tryan spent the winter in Wayland, Massachusetts, and I watched the Red Sox win the World Series in 13 with him. Like,
wow.
Yeah, really nice guy. Like, was not like a highly regarded prospect at the time.
No, he wasn't. I think he was with the A's for a while.
Yeah, he was with the Nationals at this time. And I mean, we never would have imagined that the guy that I was just like playing ping pong with would be like pitch. He's probably gonna pitch tonight as we record this. Like, he's absolutely filthy.
He's one of those guys like Clay Holmes ish, where they throw the ball and you're like, how does it do that? Like, how do you make a baseball move like that? Freakish. Better than Clay Holmes, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Holmes.
Oh, yeah.
Bunch of guys on the Yankees just lit some money on fire this year between him and Verdugo. Like those were guys with some really big contracts coming in, and now they're probably going to have to get 1 year prove-it deals. Unfortunately I don't have an issue with Holmes. I just Verdugo just kind of like, this is the way things ended in Boston, and everything just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth.
Dude, I would take Holmes on the Red Sox. I wouldn't hate that. Not as a closer.
I'll ask you this. Clay Holmes, say he goes to the Dodgers, over under 1.42 ERA.
Over, but he saves like 50 games.
Yeah.
It's 0.58, but he's got 51 saves.
It's going to be like like 1.70 or something like that. But yeah, he'd be... God, some of these teams, you're just like, man, what are they doing? Where they're just like, oh, I know how to fix that guy, and then they do like, look at Ryan Brazier. It's kind of crazy.
I know. That's maybe my least fit. I'm trying to think of an example of that I hate more, just because the Red Sox have had some guys go through there, and like I guess they could kind of float under the radar. Like Jeffrey Springs, like I don't know what they did with him or what they saw with him, but Ryan Brazier, they worked with him forever, trying to fix whatever the hell it was that he was doing wrong with them. The Dodgers are like, here's
you ever throw a cutter?
Cutter?
Throw a cutter.
Throw a cutter. Try this. All right. Yeah. And now you get how many? What did he sign for this past offseason? Was it 2 years?
Yeah, he got a 2-year deal. Like not a bad one either. It wasn't like he was.
Got a moment though. We still got a Brazier moment though with the Red Sox. It's not like Caleb Ort where he was just completely useless here. Like we got the get the fuck back in the box. Gary Sanchez. That was kind of cool.
He was in Boston.
There were like two bright Brazier careers. It's like you had the 18 Brazier, and he was really good in 21. People forget about that. Like he came back at the end of the year and he was incredible.
And then after 4 straight games, remember, like in that. Remember, they needed to win against the Nationals, and I swear he was pitching in every game that series.
He did, yeah. I think you're right about the 4 straight. Which, for those who don't know, like you do not see guys go 4 straight ever.
No, it's not a good idea to do.
Listen to this. Ryan Brazier's major league career, almost 297 games. Let's call it 300. 3.85 ERA over 285 innings. Good for him, man.
Bad. Yes. Considering how much that was, like, take the 2023 with the Red Sox and 2022 out of that, and like that's got to be even better, right?
I got to the point with him, and this rarely happens to me because I have no soul, but where I didn't like watching him pitch because I felt so bad. I just felt terrible because you could tell like and I think he had some family stuff too, and you could just see it on his face. Like he doesn't want to be pitching like shit out there. And when he got to the Dodgers and pitched well. Yeah, no. And when he went to the Dodgers and pitched well, a lot of people were hating on him, and I was kind of quietly in the corner like, good job, Ryan. You can do it. Good job, Brazier.
Relievers are like kickers, aren't they? Like where it's like you only notice them when they're getting lit up, and you can have a guy who's doing a really good job, and no one's going to care because you expect it. Like no one was talking about how Emmanuel Clase was going to get Cy Young Award votes until he got his ass kicked by the Yankees. Like it is what it is. You know, it's unfortunate for them, but kind of comes with being a relief pitcher.